How's it going, everyone? My name's Jamie, and this is the Tyerman Tris podcast. So, what is this podcast going to be about? This podcast is going to be telling stories from all levels of triathlon, from people who haven't even done one yet, all the way to the pro level. Yeah, just getting to know the sport a bit better. So, first guest of the podcast, we have got Jamie Berry. Jamie Berry has, last year, went 8:35 in Hamburg and won Helvellyn Tri. He's doing Leeds Triathlon this year. Hopefully he won't get lost because he's got a habit of that. So yeah, let's see how he's getting on. Right, should we get started?
Yeah. Before anything else goes Pete Tong.
Yeah, so we finally got recording after I forgot to tell Jamie where the hell the podcast was, and he turned up at my house, which wasn't ideal, but we get there. It's like I'm an hour away from where I probably should be, but oh well.
Yeah, I was a bit curious when there's no drug dealer car outside your house.
That's the reason why I'm in Teesside, is to come and pick the drug dealer car back up.
All right.
Doing
a drop off.
Yeah, doing a drop off. Yeah, exactly. So what races have you got coming up this year?
The big races this year is Ironman Lanzarote.
God, yeah, I forgot you'd got that.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. No, it's actually occupying pretty much most of my brain space at the minute. So that's in about, I want to say 13 weeks, 12 or 13 weeks.
That is not long.
No, it really isn't. I've just come off a bit of a rest and test week.
Yeah.
So I've done a bit of bike testing in the labs, and I did a sort of swim test on Friday, a classic 400, 200 CSS test.
So not the 3K one you sent me earlier in the week?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That will be reserved for those people.
It was Aaron Royal special, was it?
Yeah, the Leeds Triathlon Centre. Although, if one of them does end up going and winning Ironman Leeds later in the year, then maybe you'll see a lot more 3K time trials in the pool.
Well, to be fair, looking at the swim, it's probably going to be the size of a swimming pool anyway, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got Lanzarote, and then you've got Leeds, I think.
Yeah, Ironman Leeds as well. That's towards the end of July, sort of rather controversially the same weekend as the Outlaw, the full.
And then Lakesman.
The Lakesman in between, sort of I want to say, is it mid-June?
I think it is. Yeah.
Mid-June, yeah, and that's the British champs this year, middle distance champs. So that'll be interesting. It's an incredible race.
It looks like a good field as well. To be fair, there's loads of.
I imagine so. Yeah, the sort
loads of northeast people.
Yeah, a lot of the northeast guys will. Well, it's essentially probably a home race for us.
Because wasn't it a PTO race a couple of years ago? Didn't Sam Lidlaw's won it, hasn't he?
No, he has. He won the full. He did the full before he.
Oh, of course,
yeah. He was a professional.
They're bringing that back. They're bringing that back next year, I think, as well.
Yeah, 10th anniversary. I actually just read a news article yesterday that the Lakesman has just won. It's been voted like the best triathlon in Europe. I don't know if that was a 220 triathlon sort of mag special or like a triathlon special or something. But no, it's a cracking race. I mean,
it still doesn't appeal doing a full Ironman on open roads, to be honest. But
no, well, that's one thing. I mean, the Outlaw is open course as well. I've only done the half there.
Which one have you done? Nottingham.
Outlaw half Nottingham, yeah. And I couldn't imagine doing a full for that. Not just because it's 2 laps of the horrific Nottinghamshire roads.
To be fair, the ones I've done at Nottingham have always been, how have they described it? Traffic managed. So like every right turn, they've kind of let you like stop traffic and let you go. So it's not been too bad, but I really
also
don't see
when they start you at 5:45 in the morning on a Sunday.
Well, yeah, that's exactly that. But then that's the same for Lakesman, isn't it? It's basically just
very true. It is on the A66.
It's good, though.
Yeah,
it's
a
good swim, and they make it as flat as they can so it's in the Lake District.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the only other one over there is Helvellyn, which conveniently someone won last year, didn't they?
Yeah, certainly are. I would go and find my trophy, but I've got a mug here, and it's sat on it. And that's what you get for winning the hardest triathlon in Europe, as voted by Triathlon magazine back in 2013.
So how ridiculous is it? Because I've not done it, and I fancy doing it, but do you go Do you go up or down the struggle?
Well, both. You go up the struggle from, I believe it's Ambleside. So you go up and over the struggle and down Kirkstone Pass into, well, it's back towards Glenridden
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
down the other side.
yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, doing the struggle on a road bike is pretty brutal by itself. But
Did you TT bike it?
yeah, it's 100% a TT bike course.
Right.
You see it reflected in the results. People using road bikes versus people using TT bikes. But yeah, doing the struggle on a 56:44 was
Not the
emo-
one.
it was emotional. But the photos from 226 when he was sat at the top certainly tell the
Yeah, it looks
story as well.
class.
Oh, it's an incredible race, and it depends on what weather you get. We were sort of blessed not to have any rain, so it went okay. But
Yeah.
I know that if I was there when it was the PTO race back in 2019 or 20,
Who
and it
won it?
was
Yeah, was it Skipper? I think
no
he did it. No,
Skipper
or did
didn't
he?
beat at all. It was Al Brownlee,
Of course.
and that's because it was the year he did his WTCS Hamburg on the Saturday. Flew back and
Oh,
did
of
the,
course he did, and flew back and did that. Yeah,
and then he donated his winnings to.
because it was a fair chunk of money as well, wasn't it? Just for like a local race.
Oh yeah, I mean that was at the time when the PTO were just chucking money at anything really.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was class. It was good to see. Will Clark was there, sort of 5 years on from his last triathlon, I think.
So speaking of like absolutely ridiculous bike rides, are we reckoning Leeds is going to be the same?
Yeah, Ironman Leeds it's got the potential to be a truly disgusting bike course.
Because they've not
Harder
announced.
than
It's what's the date today? It's like the 9th of Feb, and they've still not announced any of the route.
yeah, we're sat here on the 9th of February. Where well, I don't know the maths. The race is in July, towards the end of July, and we have no information besides that it's going to be in Leeds, and at the
And it's
minute,
going to be on a cricket pitch, the transition.
and that transition is going to be on a cricket pitch in Roundhay
Yeah,
Park, as it
yeah.
stands at the minute.
Because we had a look at the route yesterday of the World Tri one, and it was 1,500 meters with one lap in that lake. So it's gonna have to be at like either 2 or 2.5 laps, isn't it? Really? To
It
swim.
looks like that, yeah. I mean, I don't know that lake in I believe it's called Waterloo Lake in Roundhay Park. I don't
Yeah.
know it too well. It's whether we can swim up in that sort of northern section or whether it's I don't know too shallow
Which I
or
can imagine it'll be pretty shallow.
yeah. I've
So you're
heard
gonna get
I've heard mixed things about the lake from when people did the sort of the sprint and standard races there that even though it's quite shallow, it still stays quite cold. But then I've also heard conflicting things that it actually gets really quite hot, and we should
really
basically get ready for a non-wetsuit swim if we have a
what
warm.
interesting because it isn't that deep. I can't imagine it being that deep.
No, I mean from what I remember, every BTCS race I've had there, it's always been a wetsuit swim for the pros, and obviously they have a bit
Yeah,
more lax rules when it comes to the temperature. So
because they've got how many people that have entered? It's pretty much sold out already. It's a
yeah,
pro race as well. Pro race as well.
yeah,
Region
male
X.
pro race.
So yeah, so it's a male pro race. We've got it'll be a good field, but you've got 2,000 age groupers behind them on a potentially like 2.5 lap bike. It is going to be carnage, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's as we saw, we spoke about this off camera quite a lot.
Mm.
The fact that we it's the 9th of February now, we haven't had any course like released yet, and I can appreciate why they haven't released any courses because it is all subject to sort of permitting and consenting,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
whether
of
they can
course.
close roads and those sort of things. And
Yeah,
even once they've got those, especially in the UK, all it takes is for roadworks to be scheduled on part of the course, and
yeah.
well, it throws a
But like,
spanner in the works.
there's not many like big roads really, is there in Leeds either? It's all going to be country lanes, single track roads, and then you don't want the
Yeah,
likes of what
100%.
happened at. You don't want to happen what happened at Swansea a couple of years ago, where they were on narrow roads, and I can't remember what it was. Wasn't there a wedding or something, and someone had just like blocked the road, Like I can
Challenge
imagine that
Wales.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah, and there was one of the age groupers basically destroyed his face
yeah.
after
But
crashing.
then
But
I
yeah, I
think
was thinking about this. The bike course, we still have no details, and outside of the World Championships, outside of Kona, outside of sort of the World Champs in Nice, I don't know of many one lap bike courses out there. I mean, yeah, I can think
no,
of
because
Ironman Leeds. That is a one lap. I guess yeah, you've got Lanzarote as well, which is a one lapper. But this
but
would
then even
if they were sorry.
still, that'll make the bike even harder because like as soon as you come out of Leeds, it is just all uphill, especially around Otley area. And if you're doing two
Hmm.
laps around there, that's just gonna be horrible.
Yeah, if it's a two lapper and I mean, if the promotional material they've put out says they're going to use the roads from the Tour de France Grand Depart back in 2000.
But then that headed over to Harewood. It started at Harewood House, didn't it?
It
And
started in Leeds, headed north to Harewood, and then sort of hung a left towards Otley and out towards Skipton, past like Bolton Abbey, sorry. And
yeah.
I got the route. I was doing some research. I wanted to go into this pod a bit prepared. So yeah, it was 200 kilometers, starting in Leeds and finishing in Harrogate, with close to 3,000 meters of climbing.
Which is I don't even think there's that in Lanzarote, is there?
No, I think there's 2,500 in there. I'm sure Jamie can put a link to this VeloViewer article in
Yeah,
the
I will.
description. But there's a profile of the stage, and there's some sort of key climbs which seem. I'm relatively local,
Yeah.
so I know these climbs, and these are relatively tame compared to some of the climbs they could have us doing. So the route, as Jamie says, goes out towards Harewood, hangs a left, goes up through sort of Poole and Otley, through Ilkley, and then up to Skipton, where it then heads into the Dales. And the Grand Depart route had them heading up towards Kettlewell and Buckden, and then sort of branching off over towards like Aysgarth and Hawes, going over the iconic Buttertubs Pass,
Yeah.
which yeah, is truly iconic. All sorts of
It
like
is, but imagine going up Buttertubs for an Ironman. That's
I
ridiculous.
know Buttertubs would be pretty rough for doing that in a triathlon, especially. I can imagine that would be coming about 100 kilometers into the bike leg. And on the same article, it's got a breakdown of each of the climbs. So Buttertubs is around 4.5k in length, maximum gradient of 20%, average of 6.5.
Yeah, that's stupid.
All of the climbs on the way to Buttertubs Pass. The other pretty notable one is Kidstones Pass. Again, 3k in length, max gradient 16%. Just bonkers,
It's
but it's
ridiculous.
incredibly tame, the climbs that the Grand Depart used.
Yeah.
Obviously, 200 kilometers for that stage, which finishes in Harrogate. If they're going to use a single lap bike for Leeds, they're going to have to sort of turn us off a bit early and head back. And
Yeah.
if they are going to use the sort of the Grand Depart roads, they're likely going to send us back over towards Massam Way and back down towards Ripon, Harrogate that way, which is the
I
same
mean,
roads
that'd
used.
be that'd be perfect because they just send you on the all day one and just do laps of the all day one. That'd be the best. It's like
They may
riding
as well just
Talon.
give me the first place prize there if they're going to use the all day one.
But it's still mental that they've managed to sell out without even having a route. Because I think, like speaking to people, there's just so many people who have just signed up to it because it's Leeds. Like I was
That's
even
me
picking.
included.
Well, yeah, but like last night I went to Sushi and Rolling to go and get some sushi, and I had like a bit of Ironman kit on, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm doing my first Ironman." I was like, "Oh, like right, where are you doing it?" He's like, "Oh, Leeds." I was like, "Oh, how come that?" I was like, "Oh, it's local." And he was like, "I've never done one, but I want to do it in like sub like 10." It's like absolutely good one, not a chance.
Keep dreaming, mate. Yeah,
Keep
it's
dreaming, mate.
yeah, it is impressive how Ironman can basically sell out. Let's say around 2,000 age group slots. How they can sell out 2,000 slots
Yeah,
What we're I don't know, five and a bit months out from the race,
yeah.
and they've essentially sold it out.
But do you
And
think it
that's
would have sold out if they had the route? Do you think that's why they've not done it?
I think we in the UK are just naive enough to sign
Sign
up
up
for
to
something
anything?
without knowing truly what it's going to be. And I feel like there's numerous reasons why they've been able to do this. I mean, it's now there's only two Ironman branded full distance races in the UK now.
Yeah,
With
and the one in
well,
Wales isn't exactly like a walk in the park either.
no, exactly. There's synonymous for being an incredible event,
Yeah,
one of the best supported out there. I'm not sure. Have you done it before?
absolutely not, and I don't plan on. I've done
Well,
Tallinn that's flat, Frankfurt that's semi-flat, and then Kona because I had to, and that was kind of flat, but just hot and horrible.
yeah, and I feel like another reason they've managed to sell out or essentially sell out is this Brownlee era or the I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is.
It's like a legacy, isn't it? We were like,
Yeah, the
I think
Brownlee legacy.
everyone had guessed that it was going to be in Leeds just because of them. Like even though they've got
Yeah,
nothing to do with it, like that's probably why it was there because of like the triathlon scene in Leeds, I guess.
yeah, and I mean it's a bit different nowadays with all the British Triathlon performance centres all around the country, but
Yeah,
Leeds was once seen as the home of triathlon in the UK.
I think
I think I
it
think
still
it's
is. It's holding on to it.
yeah, it's certainly got that name for it. I mean, obviously a lot of the performances are coming out of places like Loughborough, like Cardiff. I think Cardiff is another one,
I think
and then
so.
Stirling. Yeah, they've got the legacy of the Brownlees. They know it's going to be well supported in Leeds because the city used to get behind it so much with the sort of triathlons that went on
But
well yearly probably for half a
it is
decade or so.
it's going to be, and we'll probably do another pod when it's announced. But it is going to be interesting to see what people's reactions are to the route because I reckon at the minute everyone's expecting it to be really bad and like not bad. I mean like hilly, really hard. But what's going to happen if it's the opposite and it's just a bit tame? Like I'm not sure what people are going to like make of it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If they've kind of backed themselves into a little bit of a corner, saying
Yeah,
with the promotional material, saying they're going to be using the Tour de France roads. Because if it transpires that they can't get the road, well, if they're going to go for road closures, if they can't get the road closures they need, and end up heading us, I don't know, say northeast out of Leeds towards, well, as you said, towards Ripon up the flatlands of the centre of the country.
hmm.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that will feel hard done by.
Yeah. And then kind of onto the run as well. The run doesn't exactly look flat either. That's not going to be a nice marathon
Not
because
at all.
even looking at the WTS 10K in Roundhay Park, that was still pretty hilly, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to do a marathon, and then it's going to finish in. Is it finishing in the city centre?
I've it's mixed rumors about that because obviously not promotional material, but the Ironman website says it's going to be a single transition area
Yeah,
in Roundhay Park, which I mean T wouldn't mean it wouldn't mean a split transition. I mean T1
no.
and T2 both in Roundhay Park, so I guess that could still mean they finish as somewhere different.
But then
And I think
that's similar to what because we both did ROF last year. That was similar to ROF. We had to. Oh, I guess they brought the bikes, didn't they? The bikes in a
yeah,
different place, but we had to get a bus back to where we'd started after the race, which wasn't a problem. Right, I don't really know Leeds like how close is round here to the city centre.
see yeah, exactly that. If it transpires that we end up just doing 3 laps around Roundhay Park and finishing in Roundhay Park,
Yeah,
it definitely is not a city centre route,
no.
city centre run route, which they're sort of touting on the promotional material and using the pictures of sort of like Leeds Town Hall.
Mm.
You'd like to think they would finish us in the city centre, sort of Leeds Town Hall.
I mean that would look sick in front of the town hall.
Yeah, it'd very much be like a Bolton vibes, I guess.
Yeah. Did you ever do Bolton?
No, I'd have rather chopped my hand off
I'm the
than
same.
I know numerous people that have done it, both the half and the full. And
Yeah.
well, I'd say this: Leeds is going to end up being exactly the same, most likely.
It is, but like, especially when I was doing my first one, I wanted to do it in somewhere like really nice. Like, so I went to Frankfurt and it was really cool. Like, I don't want to ever say, "Oh, where was your first Ironman?" Oh, it was in Bolton. Like, it doesn't have much of a ring to it, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And even if Leeds transpires to be absolutely horrendous, everyone's going to be in the same boat. It's
Yeah, of
Leeds.
course, yeah. But then I still wouldn't have like the 70.3 Bolton still doesn't appeal to me. And I know it's an Ironman branded like race, but it still doesn't. Well, let's go have a weekend in Bolton and do a 70.3. Like, no offense to people in Bolton, but it's not exactly, I don't know, Lanzarote or somewhere like that.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that draw to it, does it? I mean,
No.
we're relatively local. I say
Yeah.
relatively local. We're northeast, Bolton's
Yeah.
sort of northwest. It's not too hard for us to get to, but I would be more inclined to head down to bloody Weymouth to do the
Yeah,
70 points.
I was thinking about doing Weymouth, but like when you look at it, it's an absolute trek. Like from us up north, it's like 6 hours maybe, which is
Yeah, I
like
bet it's very
it's
similar
horrible.
to Outlaw Half Holcombe. I was potentially looking at sort of doing that, but it's
Yeah.
one of those races. It's such a trek in the sort of accommodation. Well,
We have got some good races up here. Like for instance, Steelman, that's a half, but it doesn't have a half vibe, if that makes sense. It's like completely local. There's no aid stations. It's like what, 50 quid to enter, and it's
yeah,
really good,
yeah, it very much is like a locals race sort of thing.
which is class because it's 50 quid. Whereas if
Yeah,
you look at some, what did we ever look at yesterday? How much
my
T100 is?
God, that is
T100
that is
T100's gone from 250 quid to 420 for a not even a half. It's like 100k. It's ridiculous.
£420 is absolutely bonkers for a 100 kilometer distance race.
Like I know Ironman's expensive, but when you
That's
see,
more expensive than an Ironman half, even at the sort of later tier
yeah, yeah,
entry.
yeah, yeah. But like I don't. It's a difficult one, which we'll probably probably talk about another time. But like I'd much rather pay say 300 quid for a closed road race and get all the support you get. But yeah, when you looked at how busy T100 was last year, paying that sort of money is just absolutely crazy. Like it's going to be a draft fest. You're basically doing laps of the Docklands. It's not exactly like nice. It just doesn't
No,
appeal at all.
only besides being greedy, the only
They
other
prob-
explanation.
they probably try to get back all the money from when they gave all the prize money out for T100.
But the only explanation could be that they managed to have secure like
Yeah,
a very good race course, like into the centre of London. But
but I think
again,
they've squeezed it into too much. So like the London Tri always used to be Olympic distance, didn't it? I
yeah,
think
I think so.
so. Now they're trying to just squeeze too many laps into things, and it's another one where it doesn't really appeal. And I know I'm a bit of a Ironman fanboy, but I do prefer their races at the minute.
Yeah, they just don't have the track record to be able to warrant 400 odd quid
Yeah, it's
from people.
bonkers.
The thing
But
is, we know it. The thing is, it's a given that there's gonna have a big turnout because London is such a cesspool of. Uh,
triathlete influences.
yeah, and the sort of lifestyle people live when they are from London.
Yeah,
They, yeah, their favorite influencers are going to be doing it. They're going to do it, and a lot of them are beginners, so they're going to think that it's a normal price to pay, which it just isn't. I mean, for reference, there's another 100 kilometer race, so the same distance out at Burley, which is a big sort of country estate. They do
hmm
lots of equestrian events there. They are also doing this 100 kilometer distance, £159.
yeah, that's which is what you'd want to pay really. And I know it's probably going to be on open roads, but like I don't know. I think high entry prices have just become like a norm now. Like you just said that's 120 pounds. Like that's still quite a lot to do a triathlon.
Yeah, I mean, I've just entered a local race down in Harrogate, a sprint triathlon. I paid 50.
Yeah, that's outrageous. Like it used to be what 20 quid or something. Like that's absolutely outrageous. I know everything's like gone up and stuff, but 50 quid to do a sprint try in a swimming pool.
Yeah,
It's bonkers. Even that some of the local races up here are doing the same. It's like the prices are so expensive. But then I think everyone's just going to keep paying it, aren't they? Because it's what we like to do.
exactly. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because you want to do some races. If you don't want to stump the cash up for an Ironman for a
Yeah.
branded event,
Yeah.
and you want to be local, you end up sort of not spending an awful lot less.
But I
Because
think it's stopping people, like, it's probably a barrier to entry in a sport now, probably, is how much you have to spend. Like, a bike's not cheap anymore. Running shoes are not cheap anymore. Like, those new Hoka Cielos I sent you, they're 250 quid
mm,
for race shoes. Like, you used to be able to get a second-hand bike for that, and now that's how much trainers are. Like,
yeah,
it's,
I did my first 3 or 4 triathlons on a £300 Boardman.
I mean, you're still on China special, but
Yeah, that just shows my disdain for the
spending
industry.
money straight to
I know I'm from,
China.
I know I'm from Yorkshire, but it's the industry that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah, I
on
think
my side of things, I've started to do probably less races, but choosing like a few kind of bucket list ones, like a year kind of thing. So like
yeah,
I did Roth last year. That wasn't too bad, but that's like a once in a lifetime race.
yeah,
But I had to pay for it because I'd qualified for it, and it was oh god, literally you go to the presentation. So the only reason I went to the presentation is because someone I went with won her age group, and my coach was racing that day. So I went to the presentation, and they just kept reading the names out, and then all of a sudden they read mine out. It's like, oh shit, like I've got a slot. And then you literally go on the stage, get your coin, and then you have to walk behind the stage and stump up $1,500 there and then, or you don't get your slot. It's like $1,500 on a credit card as well. You couldn't use a debit card, so I was like, what do I do? Can I borrow someone's credit card? Put it on that. But then, yeah.
wow.
But you
I
still
didn't
do.
know about the whole debit. They couldn't use a debit card.
Yeah, literally, you go to the stage and they read your name out, and then if you don't go behind the stage and pay your $1,500, you don't get the slot, and it goes to the next person.
Yeah,
It's mental because
I know. I mean,
the friends we were with, they were having problems with like the credit cards because we were in like Estonia, like, and the banks were like, someone in Estonia is trying to spend $1,500 on your credit card, like, it was mental.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
But you,
before we started recording, well, last night you sent me sort of a list of few questions, and the last question was, "What's my unpopular opinion about the
yeah,
sport?" And without trying to get either of us cancelled, I've had to be rather strategic with this. But my unpopular, well, I don't even feel it's unpopular anymore. I feel like it's probably quite popular. Just no one says it. But triathlon, especially like at our level, it is pay to play. It very much is
oh
pay
yeah,
to play. It's no
no,
longer.
100%, 100%. Yeah, it's like if you want to be, it's not even if you want to be good because you can do it at a cheaper level, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I know fine well one of the reasons why I got to Kona was because my age group 25 to 30, there's a lot of people don't have the money to just say I'm going to Hawaii, which is
Mm,
it's sad because there's people who like have genuinely like done really well but just can't get there.
yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely. Even if, for instance, like small things like getting your new tires for every race,
Yeah.
that's like what 100 quid each now. Like it's ridiculous, but
Yeah. I mean,
we're
and
still
then you
gonna
look
do
at.
it though.
I'm still going to sink an awful lot of money into this, but it's just
I
because
mean, you're
you
gonna
need
need
to have
everything you can get for Lanzarote though.
what would.
You're gonna need everything you can like throw at your bike for Lanzarote.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm buying the most ultra lightweight bike gear from China.
Yep.
to shave weight and
Even like
also
now,
structural
now though,
integrity.
even like what? How much is a Morton gel? It's like £3 a go.
Yeah, it's nutrition's another one. It's pay to play. I mean, your favorite influencer online is saying he's going out and doing a long run using, I don't know, 5 of these gels, and
Yeah,
you look at the price of a market standard gel, something like a Science in Sport, or I don't know, Sturka's another one that's coming through at the minute.
yeah,
You're looking at £2 a unit.
yeah.
And actually, I just had a friend of mine who I'm sort of giving some coaching tips to. Not coaching, I'm just giving them some session
But you're not one
ideas.
of those influencers, are you?
That's another can of worms. We're not
Well, I've
getting
done a
into that.
try. I'm a coach now.
I've qualified for Kona, I'm a coach as well.
I've got the tattoo.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Anyway, he was out for a long run. He was testing some sort of race nutrition just because he's got some just stomach issues.
Yeah,
£15 he spent on
on the long run.
on a long run. It was about, I don't know, 28 kilometers, and he was doing not even a hard session. He was just trialing nutrition. £13,
Yeah, that's
mental.
ridiculous. It's crazy. Well, hopefully, if this podcast goes well, we'll get a nutrition sponsor. Then we won't have to pay for them.
I would have.
That would be perfect.
I will sell my grandmother for a 20% discount code.
Granny 20 to get off precision hydration.
Rest in peace, Granny 20.
God.
Oh.
Right, should we wrap it up? I think
Yeah,
we've
we
cleared
probably
pretty
could
much
before either of us say something.
everything for the first one. Let's not get cancelled on the first one.
Yeah, it's probably a wise choice.
Right, let's end it there, and I'll see if this has actually worked. If not, this will be the last one we ever do.
Yeah.
Nice
If not, I'll
one.
probably expect to call in another hour's time.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Nice one, Jamie.
You too, Jamie. Take care,
See you
big
in a
man.
bit. Bye.
Bye.